If you're running a business in Canada, you know innovation is everything. But let's be real, developing new products, creating software, or just improving your designs, it all comes with a pretty hefty price tag, not to mention a lot of financial risk.
So just think about it for a second. All those hours your team puts in, the materials, the salaries for your tech people, what's the actual true cost of all your research and development? It's probably one of your biggest expenses, right?
But what if I told you that cost could be way lower than you think? What if a huge chunk of those expenses could actually come right back to you? You're going to want to stick with me here, because this could completely change how you budget for growth.
Yeah, there's just no getting around it. Pushing boundaries is a high-stakes gamble. You're pouring money into projects that might not pan out, and that kind of financial pressure can really stifle the creativity you need to succeed.
But here in Canada, there's actually a really powerful answer to this problem. The federal government has set up this massive program that's designed specifically to pour fuel on your R&D engine.
And when I say massive, I am not kidding. Check out this number, $6 billion. That's how much the government pays out every single year to companies just like yours. This isn't some small niche grant, it's a huge part of Canada's innovation strategy.
And here's where it gets really interesting for your bottom line. You could get back up to 70% of your qualifying R&D spending. Just think about that for a minute. For every dollar you spend on work that's eligible, you could get 70 cents back. That is a total game changer for growth.
So what exactly is this thing? It's called the Scientific Research and Experimental Development Program, which is a mouthful, so everybody just calls it SR&D. Basically, it's a federal tax incentive that gives out cash refunds and tax credits for R&D work you've done in the last year and a half. And that's the key part. You can claim for work you've already completed.
So this is the big question, right? Does MMY work actually qualify? Well, let's run through a quick little test right now and see if this is something you should be looking into.
Just take a look at this list. Have you designed or developed new software? Or created a new product? Maybe built a prototype? What about improving an existing design? Have you spent money fixing really tough underlying technical problems? You know, the nitty-gritty engineering, design, data collection, or testing? If any of this is ringing a bell, you are definitely on the right track.
If you found yourself nodding along to any of those points, well then you might very well be eligible to get a big chunk of your R&D costs back from the government. This is literally money on the table, just waiting to be claimed.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but you knew there was a catch, right? Here it is. The application process is high stakes. It's not just about filling out a form, it's about making a convincing case, and getting it right is absolutely critical.
And here's why it's so critical. You're not alone. Over 29,000 other companies are filing for these credits every single year. With that much competition, there is just no room for error. Your claim has to be perfect.
So let's look at what that means. The most common mistakes are things like incorrectly filled out forms or not having the right documentation to back up your claim. Those are the top reasons claims get denied. The goal, on the other hand, is a 100% accurate claim backed by a totally convincing case with all the evidence and submitted on time.
And that's the goal. When your claim is airtight, like the quote says, there is no excuse to withhold the money you're owed. See, this isn't a lottery ticket. It's about claiming the money that you are entitled to for the innovative work you've already done. So let's bring all this together. This is about so much more than just getting money back. It's about turning a complicated tax credit into a powerful, strategic advantage for your company's future.
So, what's the path forward? It's pretty clear. First, you've got to assess your past work. Look back over the last 18 months for those qualifying projects. Second, start meticulously tracking what you're doing right now. Put systems in place to document time and expenses. And third, you file a perfectly accurate and well-documented claim. On time. And here's the most important point. The SR&D program isn't just a refund for what you've already spent. It's the fuel for your next big idea, your next prototype, your next breakthrough. It's a growth engine.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What could your team create? What huge problems could you solve? What could you build with a research budget that's suddenly up to 70% larger? The potential is just enormous.